We all have things that interest us, topics or activities we are drawn to or can't resist. Kodak and my father are responsible for mine. The Kodak Browning 8mm movie camera was one of the most popular in the late 50s and all throughout the 60s. A simple wind-up box that allowed one to capture the magic of Hollywood on tiny 3-minute reels. Long before video, this was high-tech. And my dad owned one. Much of my family's early history and moments were captured this way, soundless, projected on a portable sheet of glass beads or a bed sheet, the smell of hot bulbs and dust in the air. I coveted that camera from a very young age. How such a tiny image, much smaller than your fingernail, could become so bright and big. It was my magic. It was my drug. We had old howdy-doody Christmas films and cartoon Andy Panda clips with so many melted frames from when the film jammed in the projector and the heat literally burnt the celluloid itself. Many 3-minute rolls were bought, shot, and wasted. Truth be told, I can't remember the first movie I ever saw in the theater. I do remember listening to Jaws as I stood in a theater lobby, too young to go inside. The same with The Exorcist. The tension you could feel simply from the audience's anticipation, and the sounds of the movie were intense. Not to mention the people who were running out, terrified or ill. I was hooked for life right then and there. We did have the occasional visit to the drive-in, one only blocks from our home, but I was mostly in my PJs, as we almost certainly fell asleep by the second feature. This particular drive-in backed up against a hill. If you didn't mind crappy sound, you could skip buying a ticket and on warm nights squat up there and watch for free. As I grew older and Super 8mm was born, I graduated away from the Browning and into more sophisticated equipment, with sound. I could now not only shoot and project, but cut and tape film together, rearranging the frames any way I wanted. The language of the magic becoming clearer and clearer. Then Star Wars opened, 1977. It changed everything. I saw it countless times, one after the other some days. I bought actual Super 8 chunks of the movie in black and white, so I could watch the magic at play over and over, memorizing how it was done. My friend Robert and I would shoot Star Wars movies with our toys, stop-motion masterpieces that honed our skills as storytellers. We also did horror and action films, often just making it up as we went. It was here in my teens that I discovered screenwriting, learning that before a movie can even start, there is first a script, a story, and a writer who told it. I wanted to do that. After graduating high school, I took all my savings, rented an apartment, and wrote for an entire year. Cranked out 6 feature-length screenplays and knew I was Hollywood's next big thing. I was involved in film societies, community television, and building walk-through haunted houses for a local radio station. Life was good. 2 separate movie producers in Calgary took interest in my work. There were meetings and discussions, nothing but praise. Could this be my chance? One would eventually lose his financial backing, and the other misplaced the scripts I had given him and stopped taking my calls. In those days, there were no home computers. Making copies meant going to a print shop and having them photocopy every page of the original work. Expensive. I didn't have the money for that all the time, so the misplaced scripts were just that, originals. Only copies. I would never get them back. The producer went on to own the Stampeders football team many years later. This, my first taste of Hollywood, was a wake-up call. Always protect your work. From here, another friend, Garnet, and I started our own film production company, Northern Cross Pictures. We rented office space and cranked out 3 short films over the span of a year. By the end, we had one picked up by the Star Channel, Canada's first cable station. They used it as filler between movies. You know, when they don't quite end at the top or bottom of the hour. I believe it also helped them reach their Canadian content quotas. I mean, regardless, it was amazing watching our little spaghetti western parody Fool's Gold broadcast into 5 million homes. From here, Garnet moved away and I worked on a TV series called Inner Realms, a Twilight Zone wannabe that never saw the light of day. I continued to write screenplays and develop a long-distance relationship with a remarkable woman from BC's coast. And within 2 years, I would move there, become an instant father of 2 daughters, and win a playwriting contest with my one-act Pork Ponderings. I was the only one who entered, so won by default. It's now 1992, and I have a long way to go to get to here. Now you might be asking yourself, why is all this important? Maybe it's not. I do know that as I scribble this all out, it looks more like failures than successes, more dead ends than opportunities, but I could never stop writing, no matter how difficult it became. For the longest time, I kept a poem in my wallet that spoke of writing for the sake of it, not for its glory. That in the end, the words alone must always be enough. So far, so good.